Hello everyone and welcome to this video where today in Adobe Illustrator I'll teach you about part 2 in why alignment is important. Now I'll start where I left off last time. Since last time we learned about how to align shapes, text, now I'll show you how to align paragraphs, and it is also similar to the previous video, but this time I'll show you some more additional options that you can use while aligning your texts in a paragraph, okay? So first, let's take the text tool over here on our toolbar, then make a box by dragging our left mouse click. Now you can see that we have some text in our artboard. So now let's say I want to reduce the font size a bit. All right, now just show you how to align your text. If you want to align it to the left, we'll click left, center, right, and then justify the last line aligned to the left, center. So basically this will just justify the last line over here, so it will be left, this one will be center, and this one will be on our right. And if you want to justify all the lines, you just click on this one and it will justify all of them in a single paragraph. All right, now that we're done with that part, let me show you these text options over here that we can use. Let me just first go over here and then select the whole part over here and then select paragraph. Now here you can see that this is left indent. What this will do is basically shift your text a bit to the left. Now you can either use the scroll button or you can use this up and arrow key to shift your text or paragraph to the right or the left. Okay, now let me put it back to 0. Now for our right indent, you can see that when I increase it, the text moves closer to the right, from the right to the left. Basically it compresses the text so that it can be more easily shown if you need it to. All right, now let's turn this back to 0. All right, now there you go. After that, this is basically first line indent left. Now what this will do, when I increase it, you can see that the first line is only shifting to the right side. What this basically does is only add space to our first line so that we can move it towards the right, and it will automatically, Illustrator will automatically shift the rest of the words downwards. Okay, so let's turn it back to 0. Okay. Next thing you need to know is this one, which is space before paragraph. What this does is when I want to add a space before my paragraphs, it will add it. So let me first make a paragraph over here so that it's easier to understand. Let's say I have a paragraph over here. Okay, now let's go back to the paragraph option, and here you can see that whenever I add some points for space, the space is being added between the paragraphs. And let's turn it back to 0. Now if I go negative, you can see that all of these words are being turned up. Okay, let's just put it back to 0. All right, now this one is basically space after paragraph. So if I click on that, it's not doing anything yet, but let me first select all the text. This will basically put space after the paragraph. So let's say I have a full stop over here, and now I just press enter. Now when I go back to paragraph and use this option, you can see that it's not yet working. Let me just go back and select all the text. Now let's add the paragraph. Let's add spaces after the paragraph, and you can see that it's automatically adjusting itself to add spaces after the first paragraph. Right here you can change the font family. All right, and first let me just select the text so that I can apply it to my text. Okay, so This is the font family. You can select any of the fonts below to change your fonts for your selected paragraph. And if you don't want to do it here, you can always go to the type and then select fonts. And here you can see that we have the fonts here as well. There are a lot of fonts you can choose from, or you can also go to your recent fonts and choose your fonts from there. And then we also have the font styles over here. Now that we're done with that part, let's go over here and explain what each of these options will do to you. First one over here is set deleting. Now, if I click that, you can see that after each line, there's a space between them. This one increases the space or decreases it according to your need. All right. After that, we have to set the tracking for selected characters. Let's say I increase it. You can see that after each word, the spaces are increasing, and it's making our paragraph a bit more bigger. All right. As you can see, this is how it works. Let's turn it back to default. After that, we have the set the kerning between the two characters. Now, what this does is basically it's used to modify spacing between multiple characters while using the tracking option. Now, we can set it to optical, auto, or even metrics Roman only. All right. So I'll just put it on auto. Next, we have set the font size, which we all know is basically the size of our font, whether we want it to be big or small. This helps us to do that. All right. Character tab, click on it and select show options. Now you can see that we have a few more options in front of us, and I'm going to explain each one in detail. First one is the horizontal scale. Now, I have to first select my text so that I can apply to them. Right now, the horizontal scale increases the amount of space needed to make your words more horizontally affected. All right. So as you can see, if I increase it, the words are increasing in their size horizontally so that it can fit in our artboard. Now, if I reduce it, they will just become smaller and smaller until nothing happens. All right. Then we have character rotation. What this does is basically, let's say I have a word here, lorem ipsum, and now I want to rotate this character. So let's create a bigger font size so that you can understand. Now, the character rotation basically rotates your text in a certain degree so that you can use them in you can use them in specific areas while doing logos or even banners. This is very useful, and it can create various amount of artwork and design. Next, we have the vertical scale. So when I do this, you can see that the words are being stretched vertically towards the top, and you can do this to increase the size of your text vertically. Next, after that, we have the set baseline shift. After that, we have the set baseline shift. Now, when I increase this, you can see that the baseline is increasing, which means that your texts are staying in the same position, but they're being lifted up. As you can see, the more I lift them up, the more higher they go. The more I lift them down, the more lower they go. All right. So that is baseline shift. All right. After that, we have these few options over here, which are first one is all caps. When I press this, all of them become capital letters. When I press this, only the first few letters are going to be the first letter is going to be capital, and the rest of them are going to be like small. Then I have superscript. Okay. Say I want to create this M as in superscript. I'll put it like that. Now the superscript option will create M up there as the power of E. So I hope you get it. Now, if I create the subscript, you can see that the M is going down. Okay. Now let's put it back. Then we have the underline. When we use underline, the whole text will be underlined. as you can see. And then we have the strike through. When we click on this, the whole word is strike through. All right, then you can use any of these English USA options. And after that, we have the baseline, just like before. Here we can set the baseline to this heights, and also there we have glyph bounds. Okay, now Lorem Ipsum, let's increase the size a bit. Okay, let's cut this part out. And we already know how to change the font and also the font size. So now I'll show you how to change the appearance of your text over here. In order to do that, first I'll go to the selection tool, select this text, right click, and then I'll create outlines, which is also the keyboard shortcut for Shift Ctrl plus O. So let's just create outlines, and make sure before you want to add font colors you create outlines, or else it will not work. So let's create outlines. Now this whole text has been shifted to an image, or you can say an anchor and path. Now over here you can also edit and add anchors so that you can curve your words according to your wish, and you can see that we can stretch them as much as we want or edit them. Now let's say I want to change the color of our text, so I will say that I want it as white. Then you can see that the whole thing's disappeared, blue, purple, or anything else. Now let's say I want to just add a specific color to a certain word. I'll just go over here. Okay, instead of selecting the whole thing, I'll just click on one specific word and then click on the color that I want it to be in. Now you can see that it became blue. All right, so that is all for this video. I hope you have understood how we can edit our texts, colors, fonts, and also font size, and also how we can fix our character settings in our paragraph. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next video.